In this video, we're going to focus on the index of in JavaScript, and this is a very useful array function in JavaScript. However, if you're going to use this just as a basic, just only the index of, you might not see the real value of it. The real value comes when you can use this in conjunction with or in combination with multiple different commands, and that will make it really different. So let's start and explore how to do this. So the first thing what we're going to do here is we're going to create a script tag, and in this script tag we're going to put in our basic array that we're going to use. And in our case this will be a constant, and this array will be called colors, and in here we're going to put in multiple color values. There we are. We're going to put in here red, blue, green, yellow, and black. So once we have all of those, the next thing what we need to do is we need to use the index of. So I will show you the most basic way to use it, although this can be useful, but the practicality of this will be minimal. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to say here console.log. And then what we want to do is we want to get the value. So we say here colors. For example, we would like to know what index number index of is if we select green. Basically, if you are very familiar with arrays, arrays works with index or element. Basically, they're same, but their counting is different. For example, elements. So if we say the first element is is red. However, so this we say first element. However, if you would say an index, the index is 0. So this is index 0, and the reason why it's 0 is because it's an array is 0 based counting. However, you cannot say to a person the 0th element. Doesn't make any sense. Yes, so the value red is the 0th element. No, that doesn't work. So you need to make sure you have here the right element, or for communication purposes, they say the first element, which makes sense, or the second element. However, this is in reality just number 0, this is number 1, and etc, etc. So it starts with 0, alright? So the index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, and index 4. Meaning if you would like to have the green color, what is the index value? Well, it will be index number 2. Because this is 0, 1, and 2. Alright, so I just ignore this. So in here, what we say then the following colors. So we get the array, and then we say in this array, search for the index number of this specific value, which is green. So we're going to type in green. Once we did that, we can save this. Once we refresh this and open up the developer tab, once it shows up, you can see here number 2. Alright, so this works. However, you will never use like this, and this is all hard code. It doesn't make any sense at all. We are going to use this in a more practical form. So what we're going to do now, we're going to change this. Imagine the following, and this is very common in charts if you are going to work with chart.js, and I have many videos about that. You sometimes have multiple values matching together, meaning we have here the colors, and here we would have maybe votes, the number of votes. And this would be just the number point value. So we say 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So this would mean here we have this, and now we have a combination, because what we want to do is we want to have not only the green value, but we also want the matching vote. So I'll just put in some enters here. So what we're going to do now is basically this. So we're going to extract the color. We have this value here, it knows it's the index number 2. So can we get, if you have the green here, can we get also the value here? Well, how can we do this? Well, basically like this. So we have here console log, then we say votes, then we say index of, and then we need to get here basically the value here. What we could do, I think this would make even more sense. I'm going to remove this. Say const, and then we say here color vote equal that. Alright, so what we're going to do is basically what we're going to do here is the index of, but we need this one here only. So we're going to remove this, and then we get here this. In reality, this is number 2, remember. So this is number 2. So what we are really saying here, we want to say votes number 2. That's what we're doing here basically. So let's remove this and then save this, and once we show this, you will see we get now the value 30, which is correct because 30 is matching with the green color. Alright, so now we have something that might work. And why is this so important? Because individually it means nothing. No one will hard code it almost, and this was a closer step to soft coding it. However, imagine you have a point of sale system. That's what I'm working on, and I'm using this for the point of sale system, where, for example, someone selects a burger or they select the French fries. Those will be added, including the price. So you see the name of the product, the price, and maybe any description. But imagine, instead of French fries, I change my mind. I will want to cancel that, and I want to get, let's say, baked potatoes instead. So I will select that. So what we need to do then is, for example, we have to remove the price of the French fries and remove the item of French fries from the order and add the new item as order, which is the baked potatoes with the matching price. As you understand, this creates a way of playing around with it, and this is very useful because now you're starting to create something here. So imagine here we create a filter, and our filter here is getting only certain values above 25, meaning we'll get these 3 values here, and then we want to have also these 3 values together. So how can we do this? Because this is almost similar in filtering out or adding data and filtering out data, etc., etc. So what we're going to do here, number 1, is first create a filter command in arrays. So we say here, what are we going to filter? We're going to filter based on numbers, which is the easiest one to do. So we say here, votes, then I'll have to probably make a constant here. I'm going to make this filter votes, all right? So we get all the filtered values of these. So then when we say here is the following, we'll say here votes.filter, and then in here, we're going to put the command. We say here value, so we will create this value, or this value will be added in the filter votes only if it will match this requirement, which is, this is the requirement we're going to have. The value must be bigger than 25. That's it. So what is value here? What is value here? So let me show you. So for example, because we're going to get these here on the votes, so it will run through these. It will loop through all of these automatically. So basically, here it will first check number 10. Basically, you see number 10, is number 10 bigger than 25? Yes or no? The answer is no. So what happened? This value here, there's no value because the condition is no. So ignore. So it will ignore that value. But then after, and it will ignore here as well. And after it hits here number 30. Number 30 is bigger than 25. Yes. So what happens? It will add this 30 in the array. So basically it pushes it now in. So then the first filter vote has the first value of this. And then after we'll run here again. And let's say this is 20. Then it says again no. And then after 50, then it will show it again. So that's basically what it does. Alright? Very important to know because this stuff here, it took me forever to figure out when I was trying to make my POS. I think almost a week or 2. So once you understand this structuring, you can use this in your benefit. Alright, so we have this now. So what happens here now if I do a console log, and we just get our filter votes. We should only get 2 values, number 30 and number 50 in our new array. So let's save this, refresh, and there you are. You can see here number 30 and number 50. Alright, so I'm going to remove this one here because we don't need this. This is the access, and this one here basically has no value for us as well. Only these 2 are fine. So now we have this here. So next thing what we want to do here, how would we be able to loop through these votes of this array of these 2 values here, plus extracting, let's say number 30 would be green and black. So we need to loop through this here. Now you're going to get the most important part. So we're going to create a for loop. So we say here loop or for loop for. Oh, before we do this, we need to do 2 more things. Number 1, I want to create the iteration will equal to 0, and this must be a let. The reason why this is going to keep on moving, adjusting its value, while constant will stay consistent. Alright, so this keep us moving. And then we say here the following. As well, what we need to do is here the array. We want to put these values in an array as well. So we're going to create here a new array. And this new array will be filtered or filter colors, meaning we're going to get the color names in here eventually. So we say here constant colors, and then here the brackets. All right, so this is blank. So you might say, well, why are we using constant here and let here? Well, this might change. Well, we're not adjusting the array in reality, because we're not reassigning the array, but we're going to use push. This is a push command later on, so you will understand that. And push is allowed. Basically, push doesn't is not considered as adjusting the array. So that's why constant is allowed. All right. So enough about the logic. Let's go in here. So we say here iteration or I, which is the I variable, and then we say here the condition. Then we say here I keeps on looping until I is bigger than the filter votes. We have here the two items. So we have dot length. We need to get the length of this. So basically we get the length of it because we want to only have the two arrays, two values. So we will understand there's only two items matching this condition. Alright, so once we have that, the next item is, we say the iteration needs to increment. So we do plus plus. So there we are. So in here, we're going to use another item. So what we're going to do here is basically we're going to create now the, not the filter, we're going to use here, we're going to use here the index of. Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I don't know what happened. I suddenly had a blank I just couldn't figure out whatever it was, but however, let's continue on. So we say here constant, and then we say here filtered. All right, and I should probably have better naming conventions, but for now that's all right. So we have here constant filtered, and then in here we're going to say, what are we going to get? Well, we're going to get the votes, because that's the number that will be matching with that. So we say votes, and then in the votes we are going to do here dot index of. And the reason why we're doing index of here is basically in the votes, is in here we want to search for whatever the value is, which is the first one would be 30, but we need to know the position of it. So that's why this will be number 2. We expect number 2 to come out here, and of course after you have the other one, number 50, and number 50 is the 4th in the index here. So we will have number 2 and 4 we should expect. Alright, so we get that here. We say this, the index of, and then we say here the value of. So we say here filter votes, because then we get the filtered version we get. Alright, I hope you can follow me along. Then the I. Alright, so the first one would be 0, which is 30. So we say search for this number 30, which is the filtered vote value, and search them in the array where it's positioned in the votes with the index of. So which index is that in the votes? That's it. That's what we're doing here. So this is I. Alright, so once we have this, we got that. The very next thing we can do here is to give this here a value. Well, we can even console log. Well, no need to console log here. We have the value here, but we can do console.log just to get that out, so we just can see what we have here. Save that, refresh, we get number 2 and number 4. Alright, so number 2 and number 4 is correct. So now what we can do is, if you want to get the color out, we want to get here this color. So then we can say here color, and then what we need here is basically the value we have here, the filtered. That's it. Then we can say here console.log. And this also requires for me a bit of thinking, because it's quite confusing. Then we refresh, and now you can see number 2 is green, number 4 is black. There you are, and we have that number 2 is green, that's correct, and number 4 is black. So we get all the correct values here, and now we can push these values. So basically we can push this. We're going to push this, and where are we going to push it? Well, we're going to push it in our filter colors array. So we say here, this dot, then I'm going to remove this. Then we have here, what are we going to do here? Well, basically only just this. Filtered color, and this is the colors filtered. Oh, let me double check, sorry. We have this one, we have the filter color that we need to push. Oh yeah, that's what we need to do. Push this value here, remove all of these. There you are. So basically what we're now saying is the colors, which is the filtered value, and the filtered value would be whatever the loop is, number 2. Then we push that in here. And what happens here then, if you have here console.log, you will see now we have the filtered colors. Save that, refresh, there you are. So now we have this, and then if we could do even the other one, console log, and then we have here our filtered votes, there you are. And then I will just remove all of this. So this was a really tough one. It's a tough cookie to crack. However, there we are. So we have now this. Oh, let's see if we, that's already here. So now this would be the matching values. Everything together here eventually says we get now the 30 and the 50 and then the green and the black. And you can imagine this could be, if this would be Coke, 7-Up, Pepsi, Fanta, or Royal Orange, depending on where you live and which country. Royal Orange, that would be fine. That's probably more common. And here black, this could be Coke or let's say water. Straightforward. Alright. And here would be the price. You can set any the price. If this would be $2, this is $2. Pepsi is $3. Royal Orange is $1, and this is $1 as well. Well, let's give this $2 or $3 as well. Save this, refresh. You can see here now. Oh, what happened? Did I miss something here? We have all of the values here, the votes, numbers. Alright. So you can see here, what happened is, oh, that's maybe nice to play around with. Let's say I'm going to make this $4, and this will be $5. You can see here, if we do this and we say we want to filter everything above $1, we save this. There you are. We have now this. You can see all of these items. You can see the prices here. This would be basically like a price list almost. And then we want to adjust this. Let's say $2 now. Adjust that. There you are. You can see Coke, Pepsi, or Orange. Is that correct? Coke, that's correct. Pepsi is $5 and Royal Orange is $3. Alright. And this is basically how you could do it. And if you do 4, refresh here, we have now Pepsi. So soft coded, creating a very powerful tool. This is absolutely powerful once you understand to use this point of sale system, filtering in a array, doing in chart.js. If you want to learn about chart.js, check that out as well, because with this I cover also some chart.js where we combine this together, and it's absolutely phenomenal. We can soft code this, by the way, if you want, by making a button with an input value and connect it together. But for now, I just want to really focus on this entire structure. It was a tough one, even for me, something I have to think about it, but very useful. So if you have any questions regarding this, or maybe some video suggestions, put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in chart.js, check out in the description box the link directing to my chart.js course where you can learn everything about chart.js. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.